All right, it's swim test day. So, before you head down to the beach, you've already punched in, of course. You need to check the schedule and see if the group is using boats during the swim test time. Sometimes they will, sometimes they won't, but this dictates if you will need someone to stay at boats during the swim tests. Okay? Bring everything down to the beach like you normally would, sign it off on the sheet with your initials, and then head on down to the beach and to boats. Okay, there's two types of swim tests. There's a kid swim test and a teen swim test. 12 and under, kids. Everything above, teen, up until 18. So for the positioning for the kid swim test, you need a lifeguard in the chair managing the beach, using the megaphone, directing traffic, answering questions. Then you need a lifeguard positioned in the water next to the blob tower. This is where all the kids will line up in a single file line, waiting to take the test. This lifeguard will also be telling them when to go and how to perform the test. All right, so they send the kids along. Then you need lifeguards positioned along the swim line that separates the shallow from the deep end. You can have a kid swimming on each side of the line, right? So you stagger them a little bit, but there's one swimming on one side, one swimming on the other. So the lifeguards positioned along the swim line are just there to watch, make sure the kids aren't kicking off the bottom, make sure they're performing everything correctly, right? And to save lives if necessary. Hopefully it doesn't happen. And then you have a lifeguard all the way down at the end of the obstacle course where the swim test line ends. That's the finish line. And that lifeguard is going to be telling the kids if they passed or failed. And then either that lifeguard will be handing them their pass or fail wristband, or they will be sending them to the helper on the beach that is passing out the wristbands. That's ideal, having a helper on the beach doing the wristbands so that the lifeguards can just concentrate on the swim testers. If the kid does not pass the swim test on the first try, they have one more chance. They can get back in line and try again, but they only get one more shot. So make sure you let them know to make it count. One final thing, the lifeguard in the chair with the megaphone needs to be making sure that no kids stay in the water after the swim test and that no kids are just getting in the water to mess around. Okay, keep all the kids out of the water unless they're in line for the swim test or taking the swim test. Okay, no kids messing around in the water. Also, the lifeguards that are along the line, make sure you are wearing your lifeguard tubes, as always. These are the kids' swim test rules, pretty self-explanatory. This is an endurance test, no stopping, don't touch the bottom, swim straight. Yeah, pretty simple stuff here. Just make sure you're paying attention to the kids while they're doing it. They might get super tired, this happens, and they might also get quite discouraged if they don't pass on their first try. But that's all right. Just try and keep them calm and then send them back to the line. Tell them, hey, it's okay. You get another shot. You could do it again. Just take a couple breaths, take a minute break, then boom, get back in line, do it again. You got this. Now let's talk about the teen swim test. How it's set up: two lifeguards on each of the two rafts, equipped with lifeguard safety tubes and a bag for the pass-fail swim bands. Then there's a lifeguard in the chair using the megaphone, directing traffic, keeping the kids quiet, and keeping them out of the water until it's time for them to take the test. So the kids who are about to take the swim test need to form two lines. One line in line with the small raft and one line in line with the big raft, staying out of the water until the lifeguard in the chair tells them it's time to go. The lifeguard in the chair tells them it's time to go only after the last group of kids has successfully completed their test and has swam back and is now in the shallow part of the water past the swim line. Okay? So once that happens, lifeguard in the chair, hey, you guys are good to go. That sends 8 to 10 of the kids out to the raft, Once they get to the raft, they don't touch the raft. So as soon as they get there, they start treading water for 30 seconds. They tread, they tread, they tread, they tread, they tread. Then the lifeguards on the raft tell them, okay, good. They can climb up. The lifeguards give them their wristbands. Hey, nice job, great work. They put the wristbands on, no lollygagging. As soon as the wristbands are snapped on, they immediately jump off the raft and swim back to shore, exiting the water. Okay, this needs to happen as quickly as possible so we can get through kids. You know, sometimes there's 7, 8, 900 kids that need to take swim tests, all right? So it needs to, you got to keep her moving. Last but not least, if you have an extra lifeguard, put them on the kayak and have the kayak circulating in between the two rafts, paying attention to everyone and saving children when appropriate. Hopefully you won't have to, but better safe than sorry. Here's a list of the teen swim test rules. Pretty easy stuff, nothing too complicated. All they got to do is swim out there, don't touch the raft, tread water for 30 seconds, and then get out when the lifeguard tells them to. And then swim back to shore as quickly as possible after they got the wristband. Like I said, pretty easy stuff. When you're on the rafts as a lifeguard and you're watching the swim testers, sometimes the kids are just bad at swimming. Like they overestimate their ability. They don't even make it to where they have to tread water. Like they get just past the shallow swim line, and then their hands are up and they start to sink. You know, they start like one time I had to jump in for this kid whose head went underwater. I swam out to him, who was just past the swim line, and I had to push him back 2 feet, literally 2 feet, and then he could stand. Okay, so these kids, they just get flustered or nervous or whatever. They get scared and then they start to drown, even though they could save themselves by just doing one clap in front of them and pushing themselves back. But that's the job. And sometimes you're gonna have to be doing this in the rain too, so it's never fun. Well, okay, it's not never fun. Sometimes it's quite fun. But yeah, it is what it is. Saving lives. Okay, and one final note for either swim test, the kids are not allowed to be swimming, playing on the toys, washing the sand off their feet, nothing. They have to stay out of the water while we're doing the swim test, okay? Because the lifeguards are paying attention to the swim testers. You can't save the life of the kid playing on the slide if you're trying to make sure that the kids taking the swim test don't drown, okay? That's the reasoning. Everyone needs to stay out of the water. Use some line like this. After you've received your swim ban, please immediately leave the beach with your buddies. Please stay out of the water unless you are performing the swim test. Okay? Pretty easy stuff. Try and be as nice as you can. Answer questions. You are the face of Spencer Lake Camp down at the beach. Yeah. So, just be vigilant and kind and courteous and patient. Patience is the name of the game with this job.